Hello, children. We have now moved to the third topic of this unit, therapeutic approaches. And the third topic is therapeutic relationship. So, what is this therapeutic relationship? It is a special relationship, which is, of course, between the client, the one who's seeking the treatment, and the therapist who's actually giving the treatment. And this therapeutic relationship is also an alliance, between the two. Now we need to understand that what is this relationship all about? Is it just mere acquaintance, or whether it's going to be something long lasting? So is definitely not just like a passing acquaintance, and it is not even something which is going to be long lasting or something that's going to be permanent. So it lasts only for the time till, of course, the client is seeking the treatment. And once the client starts feeling the difference and is able to overcome whatever situations and problems that he or she probably were battling, so this actually comes to an end. So it's a very, very professional relationship. And of course, it is something where you need to know your client, deeply, thoroughly. So we cannot even just call it as a passing acquaintance. So there are two very important components of the therapeutic relationship. Of course, coming to the first one, it is the contractual nature of the relationship. So of course it has the contractual nature because the individuals, of course, are willing, and the client and the therapist, they are but getting into more so, a kind of a partnership. And this partnership which they have, of course, it's as per their will, and there is nothing that's been forced upon the client or the therapist. It's absolutely out of will that they've come into this kind of an alliance, where now the aim is to help the client to be able to battle, to be able to overcome whatever problems he or she is facing. The second component, if we talk about, is the limited duration of the therapy. And as I've just shared, that this relationship, or so to say, the alliance, is going to last until the client has been able enough, has become capable of dealing with his or her problems, and now can actually take absolute control of his life. And the relationship, of course, has many, many properties, unique properties. And the entire relationship depends on nothing but the trust. So everything in this relationship comes down to the term trust. And it is the trust which is going to actually consolidate this relationship. So the trust will help the client to be able to unburden himself or herself in front of the therapist, and will be able to share stuff, personal problems, psychological problems that probably the client is battling. And now coming to some of the attributes that, of course, the therapist needs to have. So there are about seven of them, which we'll quickly go through. And first is, of course, the therapist needs to be very, very accepting, empathetic, very genuine, and of course, very, very warm towards the client. And when we talk about, of course, how it is important for the therapist to be absolutely non-judgmental, and must continue to show the same positive feelings towards the client, even if the client continues to be rude, you know or probably is sharing or confining all the wrong things also. And so probably we cannot judge, even if they are confining the wrong things to us, and that probably they have done in the past, any wrongdoings. We actually cannot judge them as per our profession, and we need to continue to have the positive feelings towards them. So this is something which is the fifth point, and it is the unconditional positive regard. The first four have been being accepting, empathetic, genuine, and of course warm, and the fifth is all about the unconditional positive regard. And of course, elaborating a little on the second point, we have how empathy is important and how it is different from just being sympathetic. So it is not just about having a very cold understanding, a very, very intellectual understanding of the problem, but rather how I can actually feel the problem of the person, and how I can really understand the plight of another person. It's as if, we are putting ourselves in the other person's shoes, where I can really feel the pain or not, you know and not just trying to comprehend what the person is telling me, but rather going deep into this person's experience, where I can actually feel for this person as well. But at the same time, I need to have control on my own emotions, because at the end of the day, this is my profession, and I cannot be drawn emotionally. But of course, I must be able to feel the pain of my client. So of course, then coming to the sixth point, which talks about the confidentiality aspect, where the therapeutic alliance also needs to keep this in mind, that whatever experiences, events, feelings, or thoughts that have been shared by the client, they cannot be disclosed. We need to keep it absolutely confidential, and we cannot exploit the trust and the confidence of the client in any way, because they have been really, really able to trust us with great difficulties. They are able to really feel comfortable to be able to confine, their feelings, their thoughts, whatever they've been doing in the past, and they have been able to share that with us. So we must be able to keep up that trust, and the confidentiality norm is very important. And the last is that this is but a professional relationship, and it has to be taken like that only, and it is only till the time the client is seeking the treatment from the therapist, and there is nothing after that. Of course, there is going to be a concern, definitely, but ultimately it is but a professional relationship, and we cannot start socializing with our clients, or the client trying to approach the therapist otherwise. So it is just a professional relationship, so that needs to be kept in mind. So thank you so much, children.